Assalamu alaikum. This podcast has been brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the global Islamic seminary. Help us spread the light of prophetic guidance to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at seekersguidance.org/donate. As little as $10 a month can help people find life-changing guidance.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
How can one decrease the need to sleep for more than 7 to 8 hours? And the questioner talks about that they take meds that makes them sleep for 11 hours sometimes, but they heard that sleeping a lot is from ghafla. So how do they decrease their sleep?
Well, if someone has a medical condition, first and foremost, that is not a normal situation. So I will speak of a normal person and that normal sleep decrease. If someone has a medical condition that, because of the medication that they're taking, that they are sleeping more, that is, in a sense, beyond their control, and they would obviously have to consult a doctor and so forth and be very careful about their particular situation. But in general, that outside of that someone who's taking medication, is that there's no doubt that sleep has always been considered to be important to slowly cut back on from a spiritual perspective. And that it's no different in the sense, the way that we look at food. And food is important in and of itself because it sustains our life. And these normally, that bodily functions that come from eating and sleeping and drinking and so forth, the most important thing is that everything that we do in relation to those things, we do with intention. And if we start there, whether we're sleeping 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, or even 8 hours, as long as you're making the right intention with sleeping, with eating, with drinking, is that you're getting a reward for those things based upon your intention. So the number one reason that we sleep is to strengthen ourselves for the worship of Allah Ta'ala, to be able to fulfill that obligations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon our shoulders, to fulfill the rights of other people. And from this perspective, sleep is a great blessing. And so that we have to simultaneously see sleep as important for our health and a blessing, but at the same time something that if in excess could take from our spiritual progression. And so that we start with the intention. And then after that, if someone wants to slowly cut back on their sleep, this is considered to be a good thing, as long as we do it slowly and methodically over a long period of time. And this is something that scholars do mention, is that if you're going to start cutting back on your sleep, that you do so that in a very slow fashion, so that you might cut back on 15 minutes over a period of a month or a period of 2 months. And then you might want to take off another 10 or 15 minutes after that, over again another month or a period of 2 months. And that's actually very, very hard to do, is that we either want to just sleep 10 hours or cut it back to 3, right, in one night, and that's not sustainable. And the same thing goes with eating. If you want to cut back on your food intake, the very first thing that you do is to correct and rectify your intention, and that solidify that your eating habits that in a way that's not difficult for you to maintain consistency in. And then slowly cutting back over a long period of time. That's all you can really do, and you'll find that's actually very difficult. And just cutting back on that 15 minutes, when in reality that's not really going to harm your overall feeling of your body, but you'll find is that if you do that for a week, if you do that for 2 weeks, or maybe even 3 weeks, that it becomes actually quite difficult to do. But then once you get a hang of that, then you could take a little bit more off, and then there's another thing you can do in that addition to that, is that the more that you strengthen your ruh, your spirit in general, is that the more in general that you'll be able to cut back on your sleep. So that the things that strengthen your ruh, most importantly, that dhikr and salah, right? Worship, dhikr, that prayer, the more dhikr that we make is the more that we are feeding our spirits, is that the less need that we will have of that physical sleep, because is that that ruh can bring repose to the body in ways that's similar to that what sleep would do to the body. Is that the stronger the ruh becomes, is that we'll be able to cut back on that. And then is that there's people that have different degrees in that regard, but we should not forget that dimension of the importance of sleeping for health purposes, and that when we make that righteous intention, that we're actually doing something where we're fulfilling the right of our body, but also is that we are preventing ourselves from that, getting into a state where we fall into spiritual lassitude and so forth.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the Global Islamic Seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answer service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever guides someone to goodness will have a similar reward." So don't forget to share this podcast and spread prophetic guidance.